Okay, right, let's talk about this. So, a lot of you already know probably the deal of what's been going on. Regarding this, you've probably seen this picture all over the place right now. And of course, there have been lots of talk about a bunch of Fusion Strike, big top-heavy cards, as we've seen in this picture, from the Alt Art Gengar VMAXs to the Espeons. So basically, these have allegedly been stolen. Ton of crazy top-end cards, and there's been some regarding Evolving Skies. Of course, we're talking about Fusion Strike as well. I've been getting messages from you guys asking what my opinions are regarding all of these cards showing up. Will it have impact on the market, especially for Fusion Strike? Will it impact booster boxes? Will it impact single cards? Will it impact your collection, whether it's sealed, whether it's the cards themselves? And we're going to break it down. We're going to break down my thoughts and kind of what's been going on with Fusion Strike right now. If you want to know an in-depth of how this happened and, you know, where these appeared from and everything like that, I would highly suggest you go and check out Rattle Pokemon's video. The link is in the description below. He goes through it in full in-depth. Honestly, it is fantastic. He goes right into a deep dive. Highly suggest go and check out that video, guys, if you want to find out exactly what's been going on regarding all these cards. But let's answer the question, whether or not it will affect our collections, whether it's sealed or not. So let's take a look at this, right? So we see a bunch of different alt arts and rainbows and everything from Fusion Strike. We know the pull rates of Fusion Strike is absolutely trash. We've been there, we've gone through the ringer, we've opened up a ton of packs, opened up so many booster boxes, and we've never pulled, actually on the streams, pretty much any of these big top end cards. Well, you know, we haven't pulled the Inteleon, we haven't pulled the Mewtwo alt art, we haven't got the Gengar, the Espeon, these big top cards which we've seen them in absolute stack load, okay? First off, this shouldn't have happened. We know that already. You know, however it happened, it shouldn't have happened. Now, will this impact the overall value of Fusion Strike and your single cards? Short answer, no. I think this is going to have absolutely zero effect, whether or not these hit the market or not, which I believe they haven't, or they're not going to. But even if they did, I don't think it would even make a difference. And here's the reason why. Let's say there is, I don't know, 500 OR Gengar VMAXs on that table. Right? I don't know exactly how many there are, but let's say there's 500. There are probably tens of thousands of copies of OR Gengar VMAXs across the world in English, whether or not it would be in people's collections, graded, in booster boxes that you and I have kept sealed, in booster boxes that are still yet to be opened, in, you know, supplemental products, whether it be tins and collection boxes that contain Fusion Strike packs. There's just so many. There's just so many out there. I know it's really tough to pull, but there is so many. Now, does this mean that the Fusion Strike booster boxes that I have, maybe you have, or anything like that, it's like, hang on a minute, does that mean it's going to be less likely to have these big top end pulls? If some of them are on this table, then yeah, maybe, you know, as they were meant to be in booster boxes, or they're meant to be just in Fusion Strike packs. Now, the market hasn't really changed. You know, Fusion Strike is climbing. We're going to be taking a look at TCG Player in a moment. But this is one of the things I will say. It's bad that it's happened. Has this happened before? Probably. We just didn't know about it. You know, will this happen again? Probably. You know, but it does need to, you know, crack down and make sure something like this doesn't happen again. But overall, I will say that your collection, whether it's sealed or singles, is going to be okay. You know, it's going to be okay. Now, I've got some Fusion Strike booster boxes myself, and I plan on getting some more. But if I want the single cards, I would still probably look at picking them up, because they are really hard to get hold of, just in general. We know the pull rates are really bad. You know, whether it be this set, whether it be Evolving Skies or Chilling Rain, it is just such really bad pull rates. So it does kind of suck when something like this happens. But unfortunately, it's happened. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. It's good that it's brought some light on this to kind of show that this has happened, and potentially has happened in the past, and probably will continue to happen, but hopefully they can clamp down on that. So let's take a look at TCG Player and what's been going on with Fusion Strike, because the things are going up and things are going down with Fusion Strike. So let's see what's been going on. Okay, right, let's take a look at the Fusion Strike booster boxes. We are looking at $138 for the booster box, and as you can see, it is going up. You know, this isn't really affecting the price where people are thinking, oh, you know, is this put people off buying Fusion Strike? Is this put people off? No, absolutely not, because people still want the cards, and, you know, they're still going to be available. They're still going to be, you know, somewhere in these packs and these booster boxes. Got to crack them, right? So we take a look, $138. I mean, over the past 3 months, it's gone up by around about $10. You know, looking around 128 to 138. We go back to the last 6 months. As we know, it has been climbing, you know, quite a bit. You know, quite a bit. Reaching close to that 140 mark. Quite a lot of sets are kind of close to this mark at the moment. You know, Silver Tempest, Lost Origins kind of surpassed it. So Fusion Strike is following the roots of Chilling Rain, because Chilling Rain is kind of at the same level. And yeah, I think this is still a really great set to pick up if you can get it for a really good price. Over here in the UK, these booster boxes for going around 120 on average, so you know, you can pick them up for a pretty good price. I think 120 is a pretty good price for Fusion Strike. Okay, now we're going to take a look at some of the big cards that probably were on that table, more than likely, and we're going to see how they are with the market price. So we've got the Breakdance and Genesect, me on a Saturday night, and we've got $21, and this has actually been dropping, okay? Now, all arts are really difficult to pull in Fusion Strike, as we know, whether or not it be the Gengar or not. And, you know, we're looking at $21, drop in over the last 3 months from 27. We go back 6 months, and this card basically been dropping, you know, over the last 6 months anyway. And then we go back a year. It did climb. It did get up to as high as 27. It's not really that expensive. So now's actually a really good time to pick up this Genesect. You know, I think it's a beautiful card. I have pulled it. It is really nice. But yeah, I think now's a great time if you do want to pick this up for your collection, because it's going to be difficult to pull, but this card has been dropping in price. Now we're coming to the Celebi OR. Did pull it, have pulled it. This is a really, really nice card, but the value of this has been dropping as well. You know, it really has been dropping. We're looking at $27 for the Celebi. Gorgeous looking card, I must say. Difficult to pull. 6 months, it's just been dropping over the past 6 months. We go back a year, it did actually peak. You know, it did actually reach $36, $37. And is now down to 27. You know, will it drop even further? Probably. You know, it might do. You know, it did go to as low as 20 there. But, you know, like with Fusion Strike becoming harder and harder to get hold of, you know, it's becoming more and more expensive for Steel Booster boxes. It is only a matter of time for these fan favorite alt arts to start taking a turn. We started to see that with Chill and Rain. I forget Chill and Rain did come out a fair bit before Fusion Strike. But I do feel like Fusion Strike, especially the alt arts, might actually start doing an uptick down the line. We started to see that with Chill and Rain. I think we're going to start seeing that with, you know, Fusion Strike, you know, probably heading towards the end of the year. You know, I think heading towards the end of the year. So keep an eye on this Celebi, because right now it's pretty cheap. Then we have the Inteleon, which we did see in that picture actually. We did see a fat stack of them. So let's take a look at this. So $27. I mean, it's been going up and down like a yo-yo over the past 3 months. We go back 6 months. Again, it did only reach a high of 30, so it hasn't really moved much. And then we go back a year. I mean, this card did actually drop to as low as 21. It has actually bounced back up a you know, fair bit. Again, not really that expensive. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the artwork, but I do know a lot of people like Inteleon. I do think this is a really good card to pick up for your collection. Again, of course, you know, single card prices and everything like that. But be careful with the card quality, of course. I mean, over here in the UK, if we go back to like the last few, you know, the Genesect, the Celebi. Celebi is actually more expensive over here in the UK. So, like we just talked about, $27 over here in the UK. You're probably looking around 35 to 40, so it's actually more expensive over here. And then Genesect over here is about 20 to 25, and then the Inteleon, you're looking around 25 or so around here. So pretty much the same. Then we have the Mew Rainbow. This is actually a really nice card. It was probably on that table. I didn't really spy it, but more than likely it was on that table of all the other cards. I do actually have this in a PSA 10 I'm really happy with. So $36 for this card. I mean, it's been pretty stable over the past 3 months. And then we go back 6 months. It did drop and then went up a little bit and then dropped back down again. These cards have been going like a yo-yos like crazy. But overall in the past year it has actually dropped. I know that it was, or maybe still is, a playable card. I don't play the game myself, but I have heard about that. Now, this could drop. You know, it's not an alt art. It is quite tricky to pull, but it's not an alt art, so it'd be interesting to see where this kind of sells. I know a lot of people don't like rainbows, so it'd be interesting to see where this lies, but I do expect it to continue to drop, maybe to around $30, but still a nice card though. Over here in the UK, you're looking around £25–30 for this card, so, you know, nothing too crazy. We have the Mew VO art. We've actually pulled this twice very recently, actually, very recently. I've been pulling alt arts actually in the live streams like crazy for Fusion Strike. I don't know what's been going on. So $41. That's actually pretty good going. Has been dropping over time. I still think this is a fantastic card to pick up right now. 6 months again has been dropping from 47 to 41. We go back a year. It did drop, you know, to 36. Then it did reach a high of 47, pushing 50, and now back down to 41. I think this is a good one to pick up. Over here, this sells for around about £40. I still think this is a really good card to pick up. I want to get one for my collection, as I don't have one. Yeah, beautiful card. Okay, now we're coming to the big cards. Now, we did see massive stacks of these on that table. But again, this Mew OR VMAX has been dropping, you know, was around that $90, but overall has been dropping, you know, to around 78, 79. We go back 6 months, dropped a fair bit. You know, kind of see that dive recently. And then the past year, I mean, it is higher than it once was, right? It did actually go to as low as $63. And is now sitting at 78. So overall, it has actually gone up. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Big ol' arts, like I say, towards the end of the year, I can see these start taking a turn, just like in Chill and Rain. Over here in the UK, this sells for anywhere between £60 to £70, depending on where you can get the quality and things like that on eBay. But overall, beautiful cards. You know, I do feel like, you know, really tough to pull. So I do feel like you want to try and pick this up while you still can, because booster boxes are going up. Then we're on to the Espeon Alt Art, the missing evolution from Evolving Skies. Now this has actually dropped. You know, 3 months ago we're looking at basically 170, and it did drop to 130 and it's ticked up a little bit to 138, and that's actually quite interesting. We go back 6 months and we did see this card sit around 160, 170 for the longest time. I remember doing a video, top 10 most expensive alt arts, you know, from Sword and Shield, and this was up there, but this has now dropped a fair amount. And we go back a year, still higher than it was, right? Still higher than it was a year ago. It was around 100, and we're now looking, of course, around that 138. But its high point was around that 160, 170. Will it go back up there? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, over here in the UK, this has been selling probably around for 120, 130, I would say. So, yeah, pretty much the same. This will go up 100%. We've seen it with the evolutions from Evolving Skies, whether it's the, you know, Glaceon, the Leafeon, and the Sylveon. Espeon, beautiful card, fan favorite, really difficult to pull. Even though there was loads of them on that table, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really take away from how amazing this card is. So we're gonna have to wait and see. You know, we're gonna have to wait and see how the prices go. But I do feel like it will go up over time. And then we get into the big boy, the Alt Art Gengar. Now this has been going up. Okay, it has been going up, going back up towards that $200 mark. So it was around 170 3 months ago, dropped to 157, and it's just gone up. You know, it reached a high of basically 190. And it's in around 187. We look at that overall, nothing's really impacted this card, right? It does. They could have a 500 on that table, they could have 1,000 copies of it on the table, it don't matter. This card is climbing, very difficult to get. Everybody wants it in their collection. It is a crazy card. We've never pulled it. I don't know how many packs we've gone through, but we've never seen this guy. In fact, we hadn't even seen the Espeon or the Mew Alt Art VMAX. But over here in the UK though, this does sell for around about 140, 150. That you can get on eBay. Obviously single card prices are, you know, condition dependent, but yeah, fantastic card. It will break $200 before we know it. So yeah, big card for Fusion Strike. So there you have it, guys. That's what's been going on with Fusion Strike. Do I feel like this is going to impact your collection? Not really. Some of these cards have dropped. Some of the lower end alt arts have dropped across the set, but really the big top cards, they're holding strong. Gengar looking like it's going to reach $200 before we know it. Sealed booster boxes are going up. This is what I'm talking about. So yeah, it kind of sucked that this happened, and there is a lot on that table, you know, fat stacks of these big top cards, but it's not going to impact much. It's not going to impact much. There's a ton of these cards out there. We just got to pull them, right? There's a lot of Fusion Strike product around still. Booster boxes aren't massively expensive. Like I say, over here, they're going for 120. Over in the US, they're close to pushing 140. So if you can pick up some Fusion Strike, it is tough pull rates. So if you do want to crack some packs, you're going to have to crack quite a few. But then I hear some people, they get the Gengar in like one pack because they just throw it out of a tin or a collection box. So it is possible, right? All it takes is one pack. But if you want to see some absolutely crazy pulls from Crown Zenith, honestly, you want to check out this video right here. And if you watch more Pokemon content, guys, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. Alright guys, hope you found this video useful. Yes, it does suck that this has happened, but hopefully it won't happen again. It hasn't really affected my collection or your collection, so just carry on collecting and cracking packs of Fusion Strike. Alright guys, that's it from me in this video. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys are legends, and I'll see you in the next one.